trapped without oxygen. He survived? Imagine the air in your lungs simply vanishing. You're trapped in a dark, sealed chamber, and the oxygen levels are plummeting toward zero. According to every law of biology, your brain should be shutting down in minutes. But for one man, the impossible happened. He endured 48 hours of near-total asphyxiation and emerged alive. How is it even possible to survive when the very air you need is gone? Let's look at the facts. The darkness isn't just an absence of light, it's a physical weight. Inside the collapsed limestone pocket, the silence is absolute, broken only by the sound of your own frantic breathing. As the minutes tick by, the oxygen levels drop below what is sustainable for human life. You feel the primal panic rising, a desperate, clawing need to gasp, but there is nothing to pull into your lungs but carbon dioxide. The edges of your vision begin to fray into gray static. Your heart rate slows, struggling to circulate what little oxygen remains in your bloodstream. It is a slow-motion descent into unconsciousness, a biological shutdown that should be irreversible. Physically, the situation was a death sentence. When a cave collapse seals a pocket, it creates a closed system. Every breath you take consumes oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. Without ventilation, the atmospheric composition shifts rapidly toward toxicity. Scientific models of respiratory failure suggest that once CO2 levels reach a certain threshold, the body enters hypercapnia, leading to respiratory acidosis and organ failure. There was no way for new air to circulate, no way for the toxic buildup to escape. According to the laws of gas exchange, the environment became chemically incompatible with human life within hours of the initial collapse. Yet, the medical records tell a different story. When rescuers finally breached the pocket, they found him in a state of profound semi-consciousness, but his vitals were still present. Clinical observations noted an extraordinary physiological state. While he was certainly suffering from hypoxia, his body had entered a state of metabolic depression. Reports from the medical team on site indicated that his respiratory rate had dropped to an incredibly low level, effectively throttling his oxygen consumption. It wasn't just luck. It was a documented, albeit extreme, physiological adaptation to a low-oxygen environment that kept his vital organs functioning just above the threshold of death. Survival wasn't just passive, it was active. Despite the crushing fatigue and the fog of hypoxia, the survivor managed a series of deliberate actions. Using a small, battery-operated light, he rhythmically tapped on the cave wall. It wasn't a continuous stream of noise, but a pattern: 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Even as his cognitive functions were failing, the instinct to communicate remained. Rescuers, monitoring seismic sensors and listening for any disruption in the cave's silence, picked up the faint, rhythmic vibrations. This intermittent signaling, despite the extreme physiological distress, provided the vital clue needed to pinpoint his exact location within the debris. This event pushes the boundaries of what we understand about human resilience. It reveals that under extreme physiological stress, the human body possesses a latent capacity for metabolic regulation that we are only beginning to comprehend. It's a reminder that the line between life and death is often much more flexible than our textbooks suggest. When faced with the absolute absence of life-sustaining resources, the drive to persist, to signal, to endure, to wait, can override the most basic biological commands to shut down. It shows us that even in the deepest, darkest, most oxygen-deprived corners of the Earth, the instinct to survive remains incredibly potent. One man survived the impossible, proving that even when the air runs out, the will to live does not. If the story surprised you, there are many more where that came from. Subscribe to Barely Believable for more true, incredible stories. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and follow Barely Believable. See you in the next one.